Okay, so we got people from Game of Thrones, Outlander, Da Vinci's Demons, The Adventures of Young Merlin, so now all we need is basically a person from the Divergent franchise. Right? Underworld Blood Wars is directed by Anna Forster, written by Corey Goodman, and it stars Kate Beckinsale, Theo James, Charles Dance, Laura Pulver, James Bradley, and Tobias Menzies, and this continues to tell the story of Celine, vampire death dealer, who is still searching for her husband, a hybrid Lycan vampire, and now she must end the war between the Lycans and the vampires, but she also must fight the vampire faction that betrayed her, led by the infamous Samira, who wants to infiltrate also the Vampire Council and take over it. There are very well choreographed sequences in this movie. When the big battle is going on between the Lycans and the vampires, you see a lot happening and it's actually very entertaining. You see a lot of different types of fights going on, people with guns, people just ripping each other's throat out, and then you actually see some mythology being expanded about 1 hour into this movie. When they actually focus on building the mythology they have set up on previous movies, it actually is quite entertaining and built for an entertaining story and a fun thrill ride of a movie to watch. There are very well set up action sequences, as I said, and when you see the two main stars, Tobias Menzies and Kate Beckinsale, who are the saving grace of this movie, fighting each other, it's really, really good. However, to get to that, you gotta go to 1 hour plus of boring ass crap. This movie starts with a narration from Celine telling you what happened in previous movies, really making it feel like this should be a TV show and not a movie franchise. And I swear to God, as soon as this movie started and you see the first action sequence, I was dreading it. The first action sequence in this movie is edited like it was a music video. Anna Forster, I've never seen a movie of yours, I don't think, but you have several instances in this movie where you are directing this movie as if it was an hybrid of a music video directed by Olivier Megaton. That is not good. I don't need 3+ shots to see a person jumping over a wall. I don't need a lingering shot of a person touching a button. I don't need people to blab out information because you don't want to put it visually in the movie. This has no artistry in visual storytelling. The people who wrote the script know nothing about visually telling a story, and that is movie rule 101. There is cringeworthy dialogue in this movie that is so bad, and you can see that characters are just speaking to each other to tell you information about setting up the next scene. And opposite to that, there are scenes that give you no information at all and do nothing to the flow of the story in the movie. They progress zero of the story that is going on. And then you have the subplot of this boring-ass vampire played by the talented Laura Pulver about betraying the council and about taking over the vampire clans that are still in existence. As I quickly mentioned, Kate Beckinsale, along with Tobias Menzies, are the saving graces of this movie. But Kate Beckinsale, she brings a lot of grace. Her character is still interesting. Her character from the first movie till now goes through a lot, and you understand her struggle, you understand why she's doing what she's doing, you understand her motivations clearly. And in this movie, she gets... look, I'm not going to spoil it, but she gets the most deus ex machina thing that she could ever get. As soon as this movie was announced, the 5th movie in the Underworld franchise, Kate Beckinsale was mentioned to be parting after this movie. I'm not going to say whether she does or she does not, but still, this is a deus ex machina of a thing for her character. Still having cringeworthy dialogue and still having scenes that progress nothing of the story, I still liked every single time she was on screen. She truly is a beautiful woman, she truly is beautifully talented, and she brings a lot to these movies. If it wasn't for her, these movies would not survive, and this movie for sure would not have been made. And so does Tobias Menzies. I love this guy from Outlander, I love this guy from Game of Thrones. however little he does there, but as little as his character gets to do that is unique, and as boring as the character itself is and generic, Tobias Menzies brings a lot to the role. He's clearly better than the role he was given, and he brings a lot. He brings dimension to the character. I don't know if I can call him three-dimensional, but still, if it wasn't for Tobias Menzies, I would not have cared for this villain. I tell you right now, good performances from these two. As far as the character for Tobias Menzies goes, not so much. Look, I didn't know Theo James was British. I don't know if he can pull off the British accent, even though it is his accent. Although I don't know if this is a human perception thing, because I always knew him to have an American accent. Still, it was kind of cringy to hear him speaking with a British accent. It was just plain weird. Bradley James is a guy I really want to see in movies. I really see talent in this guy. I loved The Adventures of Merlin. I loved him playing King Arthur on that, and I would love to see him in better movies. In here, he's not even one-dimensional. His character is here to spot out lines, and is clearly the path he's going in this movie. Not gonna tell you a thing, but it's clear. From the first time you see him, it's there. Just, there you go. This is what the character is going to do in the movie. He's going to start here and end up here, and you clearly know what's going to happen. For the first 45 minutes, this movie feels like it's the same movie as the fourth one. And the fourth one is horrible. The first 45 minutes of this movie are horrible, are boring. There is nothing interesting or new going on in this franchise. And they actually break a lot of rules that they set up in previous movies. Charles Dance is another guy who's here just to bring pedigree to the movie for people to be interested because he was in Game of Thrones. He's here and he's out just like that. I'm not going to say I hate this movie because there are scenes in here that are actually very well choreographed, very well shot, and they bring a lot to the table. I'm not going to tell you I hate this movie because I have an infatuation for the actual franchise. I love the first movie. I really like the second one. Let's not talk about the other two. For what it's worth, this movie brings a lot to the mythology that was already a part of this franchise, and this movie progresses that mythology and leads this mythology to be explored in many interesting ways in possibly future movies if this movie does well at the box office. I like some of the characters, I like the performances from the main villain and the main hero. The first hour is really boring. I can't say I love this movie, I can't say I hate it, but I can't say I'm ever interested in watching it again. And because of that, Underworld Blood Wars gets a Clark Gable. What did you think of Underworld Blood Wars, my beautiful geekies? Are you a fan of the franchise? Let me know what is your favorite movie from the franchise and your least favorite in the comments below. And don't forget, the hashtag Rogue One Q&A is now on its way. I already got my tickets. I can't wait to see that movie. And I can't wait to know your thoughts on this one and on that movie when the time comes. And also your questions. And of course, like this video and share. That is a big way for you guys to help me out. And subscribe if you haven't. Click the button below the video and join the beautiful geeky community where we can be geeky united. Thank you so much for watching, my beautiful geekies. I love you all so much. Stay beautiful, stay geeky, shit!